The gaming industry has needed a disruption for the longest time. And one thing about disruptions is it corrects the market. It basically exposes the flaws and the weaknesses within an economy of some sort. And so maybe in some cases, you need somebody new, innovative to come in and cause a disruption, or a major player who may be deficient in specific areas to do so. In this video, we're going to look at the disruption that Microsoft has actually brought to the gaming industry, why this is going to be in the long term beneficial for the consumer and the customer, and how other companies are probably approaching and navigating around this. Number one, if you look at what's going on, Nintendo came out and they put up a show where they want to go ahead and charge a premium for their games and for their products. Now, people who determine what value is are the people that are going to engage at whatever capacity that they want to engage in. However, substitute products and substitute, games are going to be very important in a time like this. Nintendo's already sold out in its pre-orders, and people are still going to be going to buy those games at $70. But there are a lot more people in the gaming scene than are the people that are playing on Nintendo. There are PC gamers, Xbox gamers, PlayStation gamers. And most of them can already start seeing value proposition as a thing. Once upon a time, PlayStation identified a threat to the industry as a major disruption. In fact, we found out by a leak that we weren't supposed to see when, unfortunately, one of their companies got hacked, Insomniac. And then they talked about in their whole thing that the Call of Duty acquisition by Microsoft for $69 billion could disrupt and threaten console gaming and game subscription markets. So what this was basically pointing at was the fact that they were going to have access to this, and not only that, they were going to basically go ahead and put that game, the most valuable, one of the heavy, financial, behemoths of the year, on a subscription service, was going to shift up things. Because that premium paid model is something that a lot of these games have been benefiting from. They'll launch a live service game. Some of them will go free to play, heavy microtransactions. Some of them will go paid upfront and microtransactions. And PlayStation was also leveraging this as well to boost its ecosystem. But now, seeing as that same game is going to also have a paid model and then also receive a transition into a subscription model, this was going to shake things up. What this would mean now is anybody who was looking for playing a premium live service game can simply just say, well, there's a subscription model that actually is attached to this. Maybe I'll go over there and play it. It changes the way players actually think about stuff like that. Because we could see, I don't know if many of you remember, during the Black Ops 6 release, there were people on the internet saying, I haven't played Call of Duty in a long time, but I'm just going to go get a Gamepass subscription so I can play it because Lord knows I'm not spending $70 on this game. And when they pay the subscription fee, it goes to the competitor. So this is why Xbox was actually identified here as being one that would disrupt the market. Another thing, too, that this particular industry shift did not highlight was not just Call of Duty, but other games making their way to Game Pass day one. They identified Activision games on Game Pass day and date. They identified its strategic value across live service games, mobile and PC. They identified that Microsoft can actually deliver games everywhere. Just recently, they put out an ad. According to one of my audience members, shout out to you. You said, hey, man, go check out the LG ad that Xbox put, where even now the new LG TVs or specific LG TVs are basically, Xbox machines because they have access to Game Pass's ecosystem. Now, as we're starting to look at Game Pass in its full, scope, compared to the narrow scope that PlayStation identified here in the document, I'm not saying that PlayStation is unaware of the full scope of Game Pass. I'm just saying that for them, Call of Duty was that important, so they had to basically take a very closer look at it. But there are other things that are available on Xbox's ecosystem that is much more than Activision as a collective, which would be, number one, other games that they have across their studios. So, Xbox Game Studios, which also carry a number of live service games, are, in my opinion, a very important and critical piece of the puzzle. For instance, if you go to the PC platform for Xbox games and click the Xbox Game Studios games, you can scroll down and see a number of games here. They may not look like too many, but they carry strategic value as well. For instance, the Forza game, right? And a game like Sea of Thieves, and a game like Grounded, and a game like Minecraft. Put Age of Empires in there as well. They are live service, games, all these games. And majority of them right now are seeing their way on PlayStation. And some of them, or at least I would say one of them, which would be Minecraft, is on the top charts every week as one of the highest played games on PlayStation. Sea of Thieves also thrives because it now has the ability to leverage everybody on multiple ecosystems. Halo, its own thing. I don't know about Halo. I've heard from you guys that Halo is, back and forth. And now Xbox is taking Forza and trying to move it into that similar category of what Sea of Thieves is doing. And it seems like PlayStation users are looking forward to it based on the pre-order numbers that we've seen. And I think the premium edition just showed up today. So that's already moved away from the top pre-order spot. The other side is Bethesda games. Bethesda games also provide, in my opinion anyways, a very strong and almost, insane from anything that I've seen, strategic value across the board. That day and date on Game Pass is a very strong proposition. So even though PlayStation was looking very carefully at the business of Activision Blizzard King, I think you can apply this similar concept to even some of the other acquisitions out there, or at least one of the other acquisitions and everything that was already in-house within Xbox. So from an analytical perspective, I think right now, if you were to maybe take a look and say, what does Xbox have a hold of in terms of property, intellectual property, all of that surmounts to a huge industry disruption, seeing that every single one of those properties that Xbox laid claim to is now on a subscription service for a much tiny cost than anybody can actually provide. So there is actually no competition and a major disruption right now in the gaming industry. The third piece is the third-party companies that are working to get their games on Game Pass. In fact, it's starting to become interesting because even PlayStation now on their high tier is now looking at doing more day-and-date launches. Firebreak, for instance, is coming to both the PlayStation Plus and the Game Pass subscription services. Interesting stuff. Blue, whatever the name is. What's the name of that new game, guys? The puzzle one. Blueprints is also another one that's coming day and date has shown up, it did show up a few days ago, 10th of April, day and date on both Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation subscription service, right? So now more and more third-party publishers are starting to do work in trying to get their games out there and get their games available to people and be seen by more people. Another game, Expedition 33. The game has so-called, basically done well for a first game on Steam, 50,000 concurrent users. Keep in mind that even some AAA games with their concurrent user numbers, like Assassin's Creed and so on and so forth, did like 80,000 with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, this is a brand new game and they're seeing this amount of success, and they also have a double backup plan. So they have a three-pronged approach. Everybody's getting smart. They have their game on sale on Xbox, they have their game on subscription on Xbox, then they have their game on sale on PC, and they have their game on sale on PlayStation, which is, in my opinion, a very, very, nice way. Did I say three-pronged approach? It's a multi-pronged approach. So it's on three platforms and one subscription service. That makes it more than three prongs. So when you think about all of this and you put it together, I can see most definitely how this industry shift is not even fully expanded upon. Now, here's what's going on. With all of this, PlayStation has taken on a very interesting approach. So has Nintendo. The approach that they've taken on is what they deem a premium sales model. The premium sales model is what you're seeing actually in full effect. This premium sales model, they highlighted this in their own approach and saying that this was how they were going to go ahead and resolve this market deficit because they do not have anything like this proposition at all. They did not acquire Bethesda for $7 billion. They instead acquired Bungie, in my opinion, a waste of money so far. I'm just going to be honest with you, because what they needed was more games. Instead, they bet wrong and went for the live service, of which they canceled. Their cancellation of those other live service games should be the indicator. I'm just being frank. This is my opinion anyways. I may be wrong. But what they want to do is they want to go ahead and take on a premium sales model as their central approach. This looks like a $700 console that is not worth $700 from a hardware perspective, nor from a console valuation perspective. A $1,000 variant of this console as a collector's edition, yes, to basically go ahead and scarf those who are, I think, suckers. Yeah. I mean, enjoy your money, do what you want, but what? And then increase price of their subscription services, which they've done more recently, and then increase price of their base console in some regions, which they've done more recently. And they've done all this from 4 to 5 years within the generation, usually when prices go down. You see Nintendo as well too, coming with a $449 console handheld compared to their previous console handheld, which was less expensive, and their game prices are also higher. $70 or in some cases $80. Let's go with the $80 price tag. That one I know for sure. And then Nintendo is also asking for more payments in terms of extra benefits to services, like the C button on that freaking Nintendo Switch 2. So these companies are taking a premium model to be able to make up for the deficit that's going to be seen as more and more players abandon the status quo, which is spending a bunch of money on games because there are games available at affordable prices for them. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.